Steel City. Is everybody ready to go? Let's proclaim the greatest radio show.
Welcome, fans, to a very special episode of The Spread. I'm your host, Jim Sella, in studio with J-Dash and JK47. We got our first Steelers pre-game show of the season.
Yay.
Oh, come on. You got to get more excited than that. This is
You're
better
the
than all
one
the
saying they're going to
pirate
get
talk.
blown out.
Yeah, so I still like watching them. They're going to get blown out. It's going to happen. Steelers are playing the Patriots at Gillette Stadium Sunday night. First game of the year for the NFL. This is a big marquee matchup. The Super Bowl champs coming against, they usually try to put them against one of the top three rivals the next season. Pittsburgh drew the card. The last time the Steelers went to New England, they got blown out. Gave up, 55 points, I think, to the Patriots. The preseason wasn't very kind to the Steelers' defense. That was the preseason. Dash hates the preseason. He says we shouldn't even play it because the stats don't matter.
Please believe.
I'm still a little worried.
saying it was a tough preseason because we lost people like Pouncey. Martavis Bryant ended up getting suspended. We're without both of those guys. Le'Veon Bell suspended. That hurts as well. So, yeah, we're missing guys. But then you go to New England. They're missing LeGarrette Blount. Brandon LaFell's not going to play. This is their first game without Wilfork. So there's questions on both sides of the ball.
Speaking of Martavis Bryant's suspension, you got Le'Veon Bell suspended, Bryant suspended, and Blount suspended. That's three of the top guys in this game suspended. I'm sure the NFL does not like that in the first game of the season.
Who cares what they like, though, right? Roger Goodell's a douche.
Well, Brady would have been suspended, too, if it wasn't for some judge, Chris Berman's grandfather or something.
Yeah, he should be suspended, and it should be Garoppolo, and that's when we all picked the Steelers to win this game. Now with Tom Brady in, everybody's mind seems to change. Of course,
it's a huge difference with Brady over Garoppolo, man. Come on.
It is, man, but you look, they're without their starting running back. Dion Lewis is supposed to play a big role in this game, at least in the passing game. You got, like I said, LaFell's out. Gronkowski's obviously going to be a target there, and Edelman. But outside of that, man, I mean, if you can shut down just one of those receivers, you should be able to stop New England in this game.
Yeah, Tom Brady is, I mean, outside of the Randy Moss, years, he's never really had that big-time target anyway. Gronkowski, yes, but he doesn't need, he doesn't need a slew of great characters around him. He just needs one guy. One good guy. I mean, he did it with Deion Branch and Troy Brown for so long. I mean, he cheated the whole time, and he knew everybody's signals.
Let's not forget
hopefully he won't be cheating this year.
Last season, it took 4 or 5 games for Tom Brady to get comfortable, too. Remember, he was playing very bad football early in the season, so who knows? Maybe with all this stuff with the suspension that he was supposed to have going on and everything like that, and the fact that he's getting a little older, and maybe it does take a little bit more time for him to get in full go mode in the regular season, and maybe he does have a couple down games here early in the season.
The Patriots have never lost a season opener after winning a Super Bowl, and the last time they faced Pittsburgh after winning a Super Bowl was in 2002, and they won that game 30-14. Now, that doesn't mean they're going to win tomorrow. It just means the Patriots know how to bounce back, and they don't really have that Super Bowl hangover like a lot of other teams do.
Well, I tell you what, I'll say this. If they put up 30 points, like you were saying, that 30-14 loss by the Steelers, if New England puts up 30 points on his defense, I think the Steelers should have a chance to win that game.
If they only put up 30, yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If they only put up 30 points
If the defense holds New England to 30 points, we might have a shot.
I don't think this offense is going to explode like you think, man. They're missing a lot of pieces out here. Tom Brady can't get it done by himself. And if they can just... Listen, the Steelers came out and said they know how to shut down Gronkowski. That doesn't mean they're going to. But let me tell you, if they shut down Gronkowski, there isn't much else out there for Tom Brady to get the ball to.
Well, what has changed between now and every other time Gronk has ripped us a new one that the Steelers have figured out how to stop him? The way I see it is they've known how to stop him. They just can't do it.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to see. I don't completely believe them that they can stop Gronkowski.
Troy Polamalu struggled to cover this guy who is one of the best safeties of all time. I mean, what's Will Allen or Shamarko Thomas going to do?
Gronkowski is also almost a foot taller than what Troy was, too.
Yeah, and Shamarko's shorter than Troy is.
Well, it's not going to be Shamarko. Will Allen is the starter. I mean, you better get Shamarko in the game, though, because if you never get him in the game, he's never going to get better. I said this coming in the year. I don't want Shamarko Thomas as our starting safety because he never got any significant playing time, important playing time, and that's what's going to happen. He's going to sit the bench, but you got to find a way to get him in games still.
See, I know you don't like Mark Madden, but he makes a good point. This Steelers regime with Mike Tomlin, they just have no faith in young players and letting them learn. They keep saying, we're going to let all these young guys play, we're going to let all these young guys play. And then your James Harrisons come back, and your Will Allens are back in. And I know Harrison was there because of an injury last year, so it was a little different. But even if Jones is healthy, the minute he struggles the slightest, they're going to insert Harrison right into the starting lineup. They're not even going to give Jones a chance. I just don't know why this regime seems so afraid of young players. I don't get it.
Well, the Steelers, at least within the past 20 years or so, anyway, that I've noticed, don't even play rookies their first year, really.
Well, I mean, I'm talking about young guys. Shamarko's not a rookie. He's got to get his bumps and bruises. He's got to learn how to play. Like Dash said, he's not going to learn sitting on the sidelines.
You're right, but they also have to make sure they win games as they do this. And if he is costing them big plays where Harrison can come in and make a play, I mean, you got to weigh how much you want to play Harrison and how much you want to let Jarvis Jones learn on the go.
I mean, you got to figure out what Jones can do this year, though. I mean, it's
you have to, yeah. Like, if Jarvis Jones is bad this year, man, it's almost time to give up on him.
But if he's only bad for 4 games and then you pull him out of the lineup, is that fair to him? Because you got to give him a whole year. He's never had a whole year to try to be productive. And I get what you're saying. You're worried about wins. I'm not saying don't play Harrison at all. I just don't. They're going to play him more than the 25 snaps a game that they're saying they're going to.
I think... Let's say
and this is all if Jones struggles.
Yeah, let's say Jones struggles in the first 4 games and then they start playing Harrison more. I think you're still going to see Jones enough where he's going to have his chance to make big plays and earn back that playing time.
Well, hopefully. That would be fine with me. With what Mike Tomlin has shown us over his tenure, it's the minute you're in his doghouse, you're done. I mean, I don't think Shamarko's even going to get a chance, man. I think they've seen enough of him now that they don't really want to put him in there. I still have some faith in the guy, not that he's ever shown us anything great. He was a playmaker in college. You would think it could transition. Maybe it won't, but he's never been given the shot. He's not going to get the shot this year. And to me, it seems like Will Allen's just going to be the guy back there all year unless he gets hurt.
I'll tell you what, though, Will Allen did play solid last season when he came in for an injured Polamalu, and I understand why he is starting over Shamarko right now, especially the first game of the season here where, I mean, this is a big game here where it's going to be a tough game for this defense, and you're going to want your best players out there.
There's going to be a lot of emotion in this game.
Well, they're going to need Mike Mitchell more than ever this season.
47, if you come over for the game, you are not allowed to bring your gun because I do not want you to shoot my TV when Brady lights us up.
Thank you.
One other guy, another target of Tom Brady's that we shouldn't forget about is Scott Chandler. He might be a nice red zone target for Tom Brady. Let's not forget what Tim Wright did a couple years ago with Tom Brady. And Scott Chandler is a much better tight end than Tim Wright is. So Scott Chandler, he's probably not going to put up beast numbers, but I bet you Brady is going to look his way in the red zone.
Well, what about the Steelers? What can they do? We keep talking about the Patriots and their weapons. Obviously, Bell's out for week 1. Martavis Bryant is out for week 1. You got D'Angelo Williams stepping in for Le'Veon. How do you feel about that, 47?
I mean, at least he's a good, solid veteran with some experience. You know, maybe there's some tread left on the tires. You never know. I mean, I would like to think so for 2 games anyway.
How concerned are you that Will Johnson, our fullback, is his backup running back?
That's a little bit of a concern. I mean, at least he can catch passes in the backfield. I can imagine that's probably why.
If D'Angelo gets hurt, and I mean, this is an if for every team, every play, whatever, but if he would go down, we're really F'd in the A as far as running backs until Le'Veon gets back.
We'll have to see with Jordan Todman, too. I mean, is he ready to play? Him. They brought him in, and he
might not be active week 1, but he'll be active for week 2, depending on how well he picks up the playbook.
Yeah, we'll have to see. If he's active for this game, you might see him in there a couple plays, and you might see Dre Archer in there a couple plays.
Oh, Archer will get a couple carries, but I would be scared if Williams went down and, Archer and Johnson became my running back duo.
It would be tough. I mean... I like the big playability out of Archer, but the fact that he couldn't block in any passing down really scares you.
And what about Martavis Bryant? Everything that I've been hearing, everybody kept saying, Sammy Coates, Sammy Coates, Sammy Coates. It looks like it's going to be Darius Hayward-Bay at number 3 for the Steelers going into week 1.
Well, Sammy Coates, he just couldn't catch the ball in the preseason, and that's pretty much why. I mean, they said Darius Hayward-Bay had a big off-season, I guess, training camp, preseason, whatever. And Sammy Coates, he's dropped a lot of passes and whatnot. But really, the loss of Martavis Bryant hurts too, because we seen last year when they didn't have him in, their offense did struggle at times. But when they got him involved in the game, that's when the offense really blew up and had those huge games, especially like against Indianapolis and Baltimore. So the loss of Martavis Bryant is going to hurt. But they also played 500 ball without him, so it's not like the loss of Bryant automatically means they're going to lose this game either.
Just means they lose their best big play guy, that's all. I'm not Antonio, he's great at big plays, but Martavis creates that mismatch with his size alone, his speed downfield. We've seen it in the preseason. Ben hooked up with him on a couple deep passes. Vic's first pass as a Steeler was a deep ball to Bryant, if I'm not mistaken here. And he really changes how a defense can play against you. Now, I'm not saying other guys can't get downfield, but he just really opened up everything underneath. He opened up things for Heath. He opened up things for Le'Veon. Le'Veon's not even there. It's going to be a different Steelers team than we're used to. We've seen how we struggled offensively without Le'Veon in the playoff game against Baltimore. But we have a much better backup in D'Angelo Williams than we had in Josh Harris. So the loss of Martavis Bryant is a little less to me than the loss of Le'Veon Bell.
Yeah, speaking of D'Angelo Williams, I really think they got to get him going in this game. They can't be one-dimensional in the passing game because you're already without Bryant, so that leaves Antonio Brown. He's going to get a ton of targets. While Marcus Wheaton, I do like him on the outside, so I think he can be productive, but he's no Martavis Bryant at all. So they really got to get this run game going to open things up for a Wheaton and a Hayward-Bay as well.
Maybe look for Heath to catch some passes to
over the middle.
Yeah.
What about the defense? We don't even know who our starting corners are right now. They seriously have not said for sure who the Antoine Blake is expected to possibly start. Can you believe that?
That's another place I think we're effed on this team.
What happens if we traded for Boykin? They kept saying he'd be good enough to start if he needed to, but then he would probably play in a slot. And now it looks like Gay on the outside, Blake on the outside, and Boykin in the slot, and Cortez Allen.
Well, if Cortez Allen, if he's the one, see, I thought it was Cortez Allen on one side and Blake on the other side is what they wanted to do.
I read this
moving
morning,
Gay to the third or fourth corner.
What I read this morning, I believe it was Ron Cook or Ed Bouchette. Cortez Allen has been so bad that if he comes out, he's coming out, and it's going to be Gay on the outside.
I mean, we
and
said
Blake
this
on the
last year
outside.
though. We didn't care for Cortez Allen at all. We liked Antoine Blake, and who's the other guy they got rid of?
Bryce McCain.
Bryce McCain, yeah. I mean, I like those guys better than Cortez Allen, and that's why we were, during the offseason, we're saying go get a corner.
Yeah, they messed up, man. And now it's Senquez Golson would have helped out, and he hurt his shoulder. That you can't control. But, I mean, they had the cap room. They restructured guys just recently to make room to sign other guys. They could have done something to bring in better corners than we have. They didn't have to get the best corner out there. But come on, they got nothing, and we got nothing in the defense. Who are you afraid of?
I mean, they did
in
bring
our
in
defensive
Boykin
back?
at least.
Right, but who as a quarterback would you be afraid to throw at in our defensive backfield? Nobody.
Yeah, you're right. But in terms of this game, man, I know Tom Brady is Tom Brady, but with LaFell gone, I mean, yeah, you got to still stop Edelman out of the receivers. But besides that, I mean, I'm not too scared of any of these receivers either. I think these mediocre cornerbacks the Steelers do have can handle their business against everyone outside of Gronkowski or Edelman. That's why you got to find a way to stop one of these two players. And then you might have a chance to wind up squeaking out a win here.
Well, really, and this is historically for everybody, not a bad Steelers defense or anything, the way to beat Brady is you get pressure on him. If you could start hitting Brady, if you can get pressure straight up the middle, and that's for most quarterbacks, there are very few quarterbacks who could stare down the barrel like that and not be shaken. If you hit them hard and you get there right up the middle, you really put a damper on that timing passing game that they have. You get the receivers, you jam them at the line. That's what they were saying about Gronk. They want to jam him at the line, mix up his timing, move him off the route. If he wants to break inside, force him to break outside and then come in. Because that little bit of timing, Brady's going to let the ball go early or late. Big plays may happen for the Steeler defense. So if the Steelers can get their linebackers going, get their D-line going, hopefully Tua will be healthy enough to play in week 1. They need pressure on Brady. And if they get that, the mediocre contest between DBs and wide receivers becomes more in favor of the Steelers. But if they have no pass rush and Brady's able to stand back there the way he has throughout his whole career against so many teams, he's just going to eat our defensive backs alive, even with the mediocre wide receivers.
You do need to get a pass rush on them, but I think this offense is going to be one-dimensional this week. I think the Steelers' defense is going to be able to stop this running game, so that is going to put a little bit more pressure on Brady to do it himself. And like I said, Amendola as the second wide receiver right now,
Yeah.
That's scary for New England. So I don't know. We'll have to see what happens here, but I'm not going to go out and say the Steelers get blown out in this game. I can't do it.
The Patriots have never really needed a run game to beat the Steelers, though. That's the thing. They've beaten everybody in the last 10 years or whatever, but they have tortured our defense. Brady especially. For some reason, he just tortures us, and it's so heartbreaking to watch these games sometimes and see him complete pass after pass after pass, and it's so frustrating. And the few games that we have beaten him, we've gotten to him, and not even necessarily sacks, but you just got to get to him, get around him, get in his face, push the lineman back. You got to let him know that we're there to play and we want to play physical, because then he gets all crybaby and starts bitching at his linemen, crying over to his coach, crying to his wife who's about to divorce him. So if you get Brady crying, you're good to go.
He has a lot of stuff on his mind, though. Seriously, with this divorce, obviously he don't want to lose one of the hottest women ever.
Woo!
And then,
It's on you, Brady.
Yeah, with the suspension stuff. Listen, how about those emails he came out and said the rivalry between him and Peyton Manning don't even compare, because Manning's going to be done in 2 years while he has 7-8 years left.
Yeah.
Karma's going to come back and bite this dude in the ass, and he's going to be a bum, dude.
Belichick was making fun of Roethlisberger for being fat. So, the Patriots cheat. They just openly rip on people. They're just a dirty organization.
As soon as this Tom Brady scandal ends, you got to bring back Spygate. They find out more stuff about this. They're cheaters. That's all there is to it.
Straight up, what do you think the chances are the Steelers even go into the visiting locker room? I would set up an outside locker room outside one of the rotundas or outside the gate, dude. Seriously, I wouldn't even enter anywhere.
Just go sit on the 50.
Yeah. Just start whizzing on their sideline instead of going into the bathroom. Just whip it out and pee on Brady's seat on the bench.
Oh, all right. So what's your key to victory here?
Keys to victory. The first keys to victory for the season. We're going to let 47 go first.
Score points. Lots of them.
How many is it going to take? Over, or under 30?
Over.
Yeah, I think it's going to take over 30 points to win this game, too.
I'm going to say they're going to need a minimum of 42 points to win this football game.
I'm not going to go that far.
Woo, I like it.
But look, my key to the game, I think our offense is fine without Le'Veon Bell and Martavis Bryant, at least in this game. I don't think New England's defense is great by any means. They have good linebackers, but outside of that,
Revis and Browner.
Yeah, so they're front three, front four, whatever, and their secondary have a lot of questions still. So I think Big Ben can find Antonio Brown, find Marcus Wheaton, get a couple plays to Archer. D'Angelo Williams can have a good game. So I think this offense can be okay in this game. It's all about this defense. I think they can make them one-dimensional, make New England one-dimensional, stop the run. And I think the key is what they said they need to do is stop Rob Gronkowski. That's about it to me. If you stop Rob Gronkowski, you will win this game.
All right, so that's your prediction. They're going to stop Gronkowski.
No, they need to stop Gronkowski to win this game. What's your key to victory?
Keys to victory for Johnny Parlay. He just sent me a message. He thinks that Tom Brady is a giant cheater. He can't win unless he cheats. So his key to victory is to just not go into the locker room and the Steelers win this game. But he wanted me to let everybody know because he couldn't be here today because he's a little biatch.
You know, it'd be kind of cool is if they were all on the tallest building and they just all kind of like parasailed into the stadium and landed on the 50.
My keys to victory, it's got to be pressure on Tom Brady. The Steelers have 4 number 1 picks at the linebacker position. A number 1 pick in Cam Hayward. A number 2 pick in Stephon Tuitt. McClendon's garbage, but I mean, he's going to have to do for right now. They got to get pressure. It's been the only way we've ever beat Brady. I don't think we've ever beat the Patriots in this last, regime if they've scored more than 40 points. So if the Steelers give up more than 40 points, it's going to be really hard to beat this team, and it's going to be a shootout. If they can get the pressure on Brady consistently throughout the whole game, not just sacks, just pressure, they have a chance at winning this football game. But we didn't get to see any of those schemes in the preseason because they never show anything. The Steelers play the most vanilla defense in the preseason out of any team in the whole league. They basically throw dudes out there and say, run around and show me what you can do.
You talk about these young first-round linebackers, and the one most likely to get pressure on Tom Brady is a 40-year-old undrafted free agent.
That's what's the scariest part about our defense, man, and I hate that.
Oh, I'm glad he's back, though, man. I know you didn't want Harrison back, or at least early after the season ended or whatever, but I'm glad to have him back.
I like having him in the locker room myself. I think he should be a good influence on these pass rushers, hopefully.
I just think he's too much of Tomlin's buddy, and he's going to get playing time. Not necessarily that he doesn't deserve, but he's going to take away from Jarvis Jones and trying to get better.
All right, 47. What's your prediction on the score? What is the line first, Jim?
-7 right now as of today, but it is Tuesday.
-7 New England, I am guessing.
Yeah, it's not Pittsburgh.
All right, so what is it, 47?
I'm going to say 45-30 New England.
45-30 New England, so 75 points. Does that go over? Definitely.
Yeah, the over-under is nowhere near that. It's at like 54 or something like that.
I'm going to say they keep it a little closer. Pittsburgh covers the line but loses this game. I'm going to say 31-27.
Low scoring. See,
it's probably still over.
I think it's going to be a shootout. Both teams are going to have to come out firing. Big Ben's ready to fire. The offense is ready to go. They will be missing Bryant and Bell a little bit, but like you, I think that they can pick it up. But I think the Patriots squeak out a victory, maybe another field goal at the very end of this game, and they win 45-42. And Steeler fans, don't hate me for that, but this is going to be a tough game.
Let me ask you this. If you were taking a bet on the line, who would you take?
Man.
You just said it was 45-42. It seems like you want to take the Steelers then.
Well, it depends
Put a
on
hundo down
real
on it.
money. I don't know. If it's real money, that's a different story. I guess I would have to say Pittsburgh. I mean, I think they're going to keep it close. I just don't think their defense is going to be able to stop Tom Brady and company. It's going to be a little too much. And the scariest thing is Brady's so good at getting the ball, and if he gets it with even 1 minute left, all he needs to do is get down there, and he's done it so many times in his career.
Well, who's their field goal kicker?
Is Gostowski still there?
Oh, yeah, it is Gostowski or Gostowski.
Yeah, I don't know. But if you're looking for a safe bet, Dash, take the over.
Yeah, I think so, too.
Over.
What is it?
I'm telling you, 51.5. I just looked. Not even 54. It's ridiculous.
You guys said my score was too low, and that's over by 7 points still. So, yeah, over seems like the way to go in this game.
All right, real quick. Over-under number of 2-point conversions combined, both teams.
Attempted or converted?
Attempted. Over-under 3.
Under.
47?
Over.
I think it's over. I think both of them go for it every time they score.
I don't know. That's ridiculous. Football's going to be stupid if they start doing this crap.
It's going to get crazy. But that's it. That's all we got for you in Week 1. We will have Big Easy ready for you in Week 2. Week 2 of the NFL is officially the 1-year anniversary of the spread, so make sure you tune in for some anniversary episodes. Make sure you keep coming back each week. You can check us out on Twitter at bet_the_spread. You can check me out on Twitter at betjimthewin. Go to our Facebook page at facebook.com/betthespread. Keep coming back to YouTube. Keep subscribing. Keep listening. Let's go Steelers. Break Brady's leg at the beginning of the game, then none of this matters.